Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Jungle Cruise. And this is the latest live-action Disney film based off of one of their amusement rides, akin to Pirates of the Caribbean, Country Bears, I guess? That counts. And we have Jungle Cruise, and this is on Disney Plus Premier Access and also in theaters from director Jaume Collet-Serra, and I definitely said that wrong, and I apologize. And he's most well known for making a few horror films like The Shadows and Orphan, but a whole bunch of Liam Neeson's movies. Yes, so now he's big time, $200 million budget making a Jungle Cruise movie, and this film is starring Dwayne Johnson as Frank Wolf and Emily Blunt as Lily Houghton, who Dr. Houghton is trying to find, with this arrowhead, this MacGuffin, off into the jungle to find this tree of life. Basically, more or less like the idea of the Fountain of Youth. And her and her brother, played by Jack Whitehall, who is a fun time in this movie. He has a revelation about him that, like, I heard before the movie this was kind of given away, that he's supposed to be, like, for one of the big, like, openly gay Disney characters. It's clear what they're hinting at, but they never directly say it. So, did they really hit that representation? I can see if you're not really happy with it. But besides the point, he's a fun time in the movie, but this brother-sister combo meet up with Dwayne Johnson. I'm a wrestling fan. He'll always be The Rock to me. And they go off and down the river, and you have Jesse Plemons, who's playing the son of Kaiser Wilhelm. And Jesse Plemons is so great in this movie. He's so hammy. Jesse Plemons is just great. And you have him connecting with this cursed group of conquistadors and led by Edgar Ramirez, who there's a lot more depth to those characters than you might expect and makes it more interesting. And there's some more to The Rock's character than meets the eye and makes it more interesting. Because in general, like, the actual narrative is pretty straightforward and bland. It's like, we're just going down the river for 2 hours and 7 minutes, hitting at different places. You know, Frank Johnson's character just makes all these really, really bad punny jokes, which I love. And he is always conning people, and those are some of the big things about his character. And Emily Blunt is strong and maybe a little sometimes overly confident person, but also very well adept to a lot of things. And she has great chemistry with Dwayne Johnson, and they make a great pair in this film. They're a fun time together. And from a directing standpoint, like, a lot of the action isn't particularly impressive or interesting or dynamic. There's nothing that, like, stands out. I'm like, oh, I'm definitely going to remember this. And, you know, it's pretty straightforward. At least you could see everything going on, unlike a lot of action movies today. So that's always nice going for the film in that sense. But, you know, this film, it drags at times. I don't feel like this really needed to be 2 hours and 7 minutes. And you go on these, like, expositional kinds of moments at certain points in the film that really bring the pace down to a crawl. And you have a lot of fun with it. There's some, like, darker moments, but, like, it's still a pretty fun and just zippy kind of adventure, but maybe it could have been a little zippier. But it definitely has that feel of, like, trying to go for, like, The Mummy and Pirates of the Caribbean, but this one doesn't feel like it has a whole lot of distinct personality to it, and you could definitely tell, even with $200 million, that a lot of the backgrounds are fake backgrounds, and it kind of stands out that way. But from a group of characters that's a lot of fun, and some characters that have a lot more depth than you ever would have expected, I think this is a fun time enjoying these characters. The music from James Newton Howard is a lot of fun. It's adventurous and jaunting, and you have all these different actors here bringing all their charisma that they can to the story, even if the story itself isn't really the most interesting narrative. It deals with a lot of MacGuffins and pretty standard affairs and double crosses and stuff like that. But some of the characters have a little bit more to them than you might have thought and makes this film a little bit more interesting. I was definitely drawn into those moments as we felt those reveals, but it's a little long and it's a little slow at times. But in general, I think Jungle Cruise is a fun time, and I think a lot of people will find some enjoyment in this film, whether you see it in theaters or on Disney Plus Premium Access. But those are my thoughts on Jungle Cruise. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.